You've heard of popular brands like Volkswagen, Tesla, Hyundai, and Kia, but what about VinFast? That name might not ring a bell, but trust me, you'll be hearing it a lot more. VinFast is a Vietnamese automaker, and after a rocky US debut with the VF8, they're back with two smaller, more affordable EVs, the VF6 and the VF7. These are compact crossovers aimed squarely at the heart of the market, where price, range, and practicality matter most. Today we're breaking it all down: who VinFast is, what makes the VF6 and VF7 unique, how they stack up against rivals, and whether you should consider putting one in your driveway. Before we get into the cars, let's set the stage. VinFast is part of Vingroup, one of Vietnam's largest conglomerates. They started as an internal combustion brand in 2017, but quickly pivoted to EVs, determined to be a global player. To help make a splash, they tapped Pininfarina, the legendary Italian design house behind some of Ferrari's most iconic shapes. Not a bad way to introduce yourself to the world. VinFast first made headlines in the US with the VF8 crossover and the VF9 SUV. But let's be honest, reviews were rough. Fit and finish problems, clunky software, and a ride that felt unfinished gave the brand a shaky reputation right out of the gate. That's why the VF6 and VF7 matter so much. They're not just new models, they're VinFast's chance to reset, to prove they belong alongside Hyundai, Kia, Tesla, and Volkswagen in the critical affordable EV crossover segment. Let's start with the VF6, the smaller of the two. This is a subcompact crossover EV positioned against the Hyundai Kona Electric and the Kia Niro EV. It's compact enough for city parking, but still practical enough for a small family. The VF6 wears a clean, modern design with slim LED headlights, VinFast V-shaped light signature, and sharp body lines that give it an athletic look. Thanks to input from Pininfarina, it avoids the cheap budget EV feel and instead comes across as a credible rival to its Korean and Japanese competitors. Power comes from a single-motor front-wheel drive setup producing about 200 horsepower. It's not a rocket ship, but it's more than capable for daily driving, highway merging, and errands around town. Range is estimated between 250 to 270 miles, which places it right in line with the Kona Electric's 261 miles. The VF6 will carry a battery pack of around 65 kilowatt-hours, offering a balance between affordability and usable range. Charging supports DC fast charging up to 150 kilowatts, allowing a 10 to 80% recharge in about 30 to 35 minutes. On a level 2 home charger, expect a full overnight top-up in about 7 hours. Inside, the cabin sticks to a minimalist layout, with a single large infotainment display replacing traditional gauges. It's tech-driven, with expected Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and over-the-air updates, though fans of physical buttons may find it a little bare. Seating is for 5, though the rear is coziest for 2 adults or 3 kids. Cargo space is adequate but more hatchback-like than SUV-sized. The VF6 is aimed at urban buyers and young families looking for an affordable, stylish, and fully electric crossover that delivers real-world range, quick charging, and modern tech at a competitive price. Now let's move up to the VF7, which is arguably the more interesting of the two. And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future deep dives. The VF7 slots into the compact-to-midsize EV crossover space, a segment that's become one of the most competitive battlegrounds in the EV market. This is where most families shop, vehicles that are not too big, not too small, and versatile enough to handle everything from daily commutes to weekend road trips. Right now, the space is dominated by models like the Volkswagen ID.4, Kia Niro EV, Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the Toyota bZ4X. So for VinFast, the VF7 is a crucial entry. It's the model that has to show buyers the brand can compete head-to-head with established global players. This is also the model where Pininfarina's design influence really shines. Compared to the VF6, the VF7 looks bolder, sharper, and more upscale. The stance is muscular, with pronounced wheel arches and crisp character lines that run along the sides. A coupe-like roofline tapers towards the rear, giving it a sportier silhouette than the boxier ID.4 or the bZ4X. Up front, the VF7 wears VinFast's signature V-shaped light signature, framed by aggressive slim LED headlights and a wide lower grille that adds visual width. Around back, you'll find full-width taillights and a slightly raised rear bumper that gives the vehicle a planted, confident look. Compared to the VF6, this isn't just a step up in size, it's a step up in presence. The VF7 looks like it's aimed at buyers who want something distinctive, a family EV that doesn't just blend into traffic, but actually makes a statement. Performance-wise, the VF7 is designed to give buyers options. Unlike the VF6, which is front-wheel drive only, the VF7 will be available in both single-motor and dual-motor all-wheel drive configurations. Output will range from around 280 horsepower in the single-motor version to 350 horsepower in the all-wheel drive dual-motor trim. That puts it comfortably above the base Volkswagen ID.4, which starts at around 201 horsepower, and closer to higher output variants like the Kia EV6 or the Hyundai Ioniq 5. In other words, the VF7 won't just be practical, it should also be quick enough to feel genuinely fun on the road. Expect 0 to 60 times in the low 6-second range for the all-wheel drive version, which is plenty of punch for the average family crossover. When it comes to range, VinFast is targeting around 300 miles on a single charge, depending on trim and battery configurations. That's a competitive figure, right in line with the Volkswagen ID.4 and the Kia Niro EV, and just shy of the Hyundai Ioniq 5's upper trims, which can stretch a little further. Battery capacity hasn't been officially locked in yet, but expectations put it in the 75 to 82 kilowatt-hour range, which is typical for this size of vehicle. Charging is another area where VinFast has to deliver, and the VF7 should support DC fast charging at up to 200 kilowatts. That means a 10 to 80% charge in about 30 minutes under ideal conditions, putting it on par with the ID.4 and slightly behind the 800-volt Hyundai Ioniq 5, which can do the same in under 20 minutes. On a level 2 home charger, you're looking at around 8 to 9 hours for a full recharge overnight. So for most families who charge at home, the VF7 should fit seamlessly into daily life. Step inside and the VF7 feels more premium than its smaller sibling. The cabin is more spacious thanks to its larger footprint, with noticeably better legroom and shoulder space for second-row passengers. Materials are upgraded with soft-touch surfaces, upscale trim accents, and optional ambient lighting that lets you set the mood for night drives. The dashboard is dominated by a large central infotainment screen, similar to the VF6, but here it feels more integrated and natural in the wider cabin. Like the VF6, the traditional gauges are absent, replaced by digital readouts on the main screen and a projected heads-up display in those higher trims. Seating is another step up. Expect more supportive contoured seats, with optional heating and ventilation up front. Higher trims may also include memory functions, leather upholstery, and panoramic sunroofs. Cargo space is generous for the class, with a flat load floor and split folding rear seats that expand the usable area. For families, that means plenty of room for strollers, sports gear, or luggage for a road trip. Technology is a big selling point for the VF7. Like the VF6, it'll support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with over-the-air updates that keep the car's software current. A built-in voice assistant allows drivers to control functions without taking their hands off the wheel. Advanced driver assistance systems are also expected to be robust, including lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, and automated emergency braking. Perhaps most intriguing is VinFast's promise of Level 2 Plus driver assistance, a system that builds on adaptive cruise control to allow semi-automated driving on highways. It's not fully autonomous, but it will reduce fatigue on long road trips, something families will appreciate. Warranty coverage is another area where VinFast wants to reassure buyers. Expect competitive bumper-to-bumper coverage and a long battery warranty, which has become a critical selling point for EV shoppers worried about long-term durability. For a new brand trying to build trust, this kind of warranty is essential. We should also talk about VinFast's unique business approach. When they first entered the market, they proposed a battery leasing model, where customers would buy the car but lease the batteries separately, paying a monthly fee. The goal was to lower those upfront costs and alleviate concerns about battery degradation. In reality, it confused buyers and made ownership more complicated. With the VF6 and the VF7, VinFast has wisely shifted to more traditional ownership models, while still offering optional subscriptions for certain connected features. This move makes them easier to compare directly with competitors like Volkswagen and Kia, while keeping the door open for creative pricing experiments in the future. Now, pricing is where things get especially interesting. The VF7 is expected to start in the mid to high 30s for the base single-motor version, stretching into the low 40s for the dual-motor all-wheel drive trims with larger batteries. That positions it neatly between budget-friendly EVs like the Kia Niro EV and more expensive options like the Tesla Model Y, which currently starts at around $44,000. Compared to Tesla, VinFast undercuts the segment leader by several $1,000s, while still offering competitive range and performance. The question is whether buyers will trust a new brand enough to give up Tesla's proven charging network and strong resale value. And that's really the heart of VF7's challenge. On paper, it checks all the right boxes: stylish design, competitive pricing, solid range, and modern technology. It's exactly the kind of package that could tempt buyers who don't want to pay a premium for Tesla or who find the Toyota BZ4X underwhelming. But VinFast still has to prove it can deliver consistent quality. The VF8's early reputation lingers, and until the VF7 gets into customers' hands, questions about long-term reliability and resale value remain. The VF7 is aimed squarely at families who want a practical, stylish EV with real range and modern features without breaking the bank. If the VF6 is the entry point for singles and young couples, the VF7 is the upgrade path, the EV you buy when you need more space, more performance, and more confidence in long-distance driving. The verdict? The VF7 looks very promising on paper. It undercuts the Model Y on price, offers similar range to the ID.4, and brings Italian design flair that helps it stand out from the crowd. If VinFast nails the execution, the VF7 could be the model that truly puts the brand on the map in the US market. But for now, cautious buyers may want to watch how the first wave of vehicles performs before diving in. So there you have it, everything you need to know about the VinFast VF6 and the VF7. Two new EV crossovers from Vietnam that could finally give VinFast a foothold in the US market. Would you take a chance on a VinFast or stick with a proven name like Hyundai or Tesla? Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into cars shaping the future.